Hey everybody, it's Andy. Welcome to my weekly show where I help you build a career you love. And today we got a great one. We're going to talk about secrets to finding your job at the end of the year. I got some year-end job searching secrets, loads of fun. And in particular, we're also going to talk about 3 great tips for finding your job at the end of the year or the beginning of a new year. I've got a lot going on today. We've got a 14-day challenge that we're actually going to do together. I've got about 5 or 6 freebies. 'Tis the season. I'm very excited. I give stuff away a lot throughout the year, but I'm extra generous around the holidays. And in spirit of the holidays, I actually wore my lumberjack shirt for you today because if you could see the rest of my house, it literally looks like a buffalo dressed in plaid ran through it and threw up everywhere. I've got black and red, and we got green and red everywhere. I actually turned my camera around today. You're looking at the other side of my office. I got one of the 8 or Christmas trees that are in my house behind me. Not 8. No, nobody has 8 Christmas trees in their house, but we do have 4. We do have 4. That's one of them on this level of the house. So, and I had nothing to do with putting it up, but I'm in the spirit. I'm in a giving mood. I'm thrilled to have you with me, and I've got a lot of great stuff for you today. And I have a new thing. Every week now, I decided that I'm going to show up to live office hours with a mug that matches my outfit. Wait, can you see that? How close is that? So I got my latte. I'm ready to roll. We're going to talk about these tips. We're going to talk about the secrets. We're going to talk about some myths. We're going to talk about the challenge. But before we get into all of that, I've been thinking a lot about this lately. It's been on my mind. I know it's been on your mind because I've been getting a lot of emails about it, and people have been sharing a lot of great stuff with me on the blog, on the YouTube channel, in my email, where they're using this one word. And somebody emailed me the other day. I hadn't gotten an email from him before. He used this word, and it really touched me, and I wanted to share this with you, and it bears on today's discussion. It's a wonderful topic, I think, to warm us up because of the time of year it is. And it's a lesson in and of itself and things that I go through, and I hope you can apply it to your career and your life in general, and I think you're going to enjoy it. So I wanted to share this with you to give us a running start. Whenever I undertake any kind of task, whatever the task is, whether it's something even small or a big project, or if I'm going to write a book, or when I changed careers or made some career pivots, I always think about, before I take the step, whatever it is, before I take that first step, I always make sure that I clarify for myself what the success metric is that I'm going to use. So I'm going to undertake something, and how am I going to define my success? If that is dialed in correctly, you will likely be very happy and be very clear about why you're doing it and what matters to you. But I also go as far as writing down what I'm not going to consider success, where I might be susceptible to measuring myself against that. So a few years back, when I decided I was going to make a concerted effort to become a coach in this format, where I'm going to be offering live stuff to you, downloads for you, articles, blog posts, videos, podcasts, training programs, and all that good stuff, I had to become clear about what was going to define victory for me. And one of the things that was not going to define victory for me was that I was going to teach you the steps, and that it was my goal to have you follow the steps that I taught in the sequence in which I taught them, in the way in which I wanted you to execute them, and so on. A lot of trainers measure themselves that way. That's not something that I consider victory for me. Another thing, and this may sound a little weird to you, but hang in there with me, is when I look at your goals and the goals that you set for yourself, your ability to accomplish your goal, I'm not going to let that be my victory, whether you achieve your goal or not. Don't get me wrong, I want to do everything I possibly can. I'll give you every asset that I have, as much time as I can possibly afford, to get you to where you want to go on your journey. But the goals that you set for yourself, there's entirely too much out of your control. There's a lot more I can't control. I don't even know if you're setting the proper goals for yourself, and so on. So that's just not something that I consider the measurement of victory for me. But there is a holy grail that I have, that I wrote down 3 years ago, that I keep in mind and look at every week. And this is what I'm leading up to, is that if I can teach you whatever it is that I teach you, and it opens your eyes to ideas and ways you can execute it and things you can try, and you go through the process, and it raises your level of confidence in your ability to try or to take that first step or take those chances or run the risk or whatever. If I've raised your confidence, that is my victory. That is my victory. And I got an email the other day from Amato. I don't know if he's here. I know he shows up at these because he told me so in the email. He's 62 years old. He said, I've been following you for a number of months. I come to some of the shows. I read your stuff. I try your things. You encouraged me to get out there, get in motion, and do these things. I started applying for these jobs, even though I was overqualified for them. And while I was in motion and doing this, because I have a lot to offer and I want to work, I got a call from a nice recruiter lady who worked for the parent company of the company that I was applying to. And she said, hey, I see you're applying for these jobs that you're obviously overqualified for. How about we talk about this job that I have for this parent company that owns the company that you've been applying to, because I think that could take advantage of your skills and your experience. How about that? Hello, new job. And on he goes. And so, he talked about it raising his confidence level to try to get in motion. And I always tell you that it's easier to redirect an object in motion than it is a stationary one. So that's what today is going to be about. I want to give you some insight that will open your eyes to things that are incredibly second nature to me and probably completely foreign to you. But once we talk about them, I think it's going to open your eyes. It's going to give you a new way of thinking. You're going to be able to pay attention better. You're going to be on higher alert. You're going to put it in motion. You're going to become more nimble, and you're going to be better positioned to get that job once you understand it. And I think you're going to say, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I just wouldn't have thought about it. So I want to bring that stuff to the surface, because I think once you start understanding what's happening behind the scenes, you're going to become more confident and you're going to know you can. So that's a big part of what today's about. I'm going to give you the insider secrets. We're going to go through the 3 tips. We're going to go through the 14-day challenge and so on. Now, place I always like to start is with the myths about this time of year. Wait, I got to take a sip of my triple shot latte out of my buffalo plaid coffee mug that my wife and I got at Hobby Lobby the other day. Okay, so I get a lot of, hey, should I mail it in this time of year? Because everybody's on vacation and companies aren't doing this and that and the other thing, and everything moves slowly and so on. Well, first thing you got to know is right now is my favorite time. Favorite time of the year, December, January, and February, to look for a new job. As a recruiter, this is happening now. My phone is ringing off the hook with referrals from people who got my name, from somebody who's worked with me, because these people work for companies and they're hiring people and they need to get going and all that good stuff. So it's happening now. It's happening now. And one thing that I want you to make sure that you can do is I want you to get out in front of the panic that employers are now going to start to have, because they need people in the seats, in the projects, and all that good stuff off in January for a fast start. So if you can become and position yourself to be more nimble than a lot of other people who either are stuffing their face with their holiday food, they assume that this is not a good time to be searching. They are waiting to find out if they're getting that promotion. They're waiting to collect their bonus. They're waiting to find out if they're going to be able to transfer units or whatever. Those people are in delay mode. They are going to be slower to react. And the other thing is, those individuals, if they are actually interviewing at the moment, are also likely to be more costly for employers, because they have bonuses that they anticipate. They want the employers to buy out the bonus if they want them to start earlier, and those kind of things. So if you can position yourself to be the low-hanging awesomeness that's in the front of the line for those employers who are going to get ready to start filling those seats either this month or in January or in December or in January, you're going to be way ahead of the game. So let's talk about some of these insider secrets. And this first one, I want you to be aware of it. So I'm going to give you a little secret, then I'm going to tell you what I want you to do. The first one here, we got the note cards, is I want you to be aware and on alert for new jobs. I'm not talking about a career change. I'm talking about the fact that this time of year, for whatever reason, employers decide that they want to be creative in December and January. They want to try new stuff. I don't know what happens between February and November. I don't really care. But right now, December and January, they want to be creative. They want to try new things. This didn't work last year. Maybe we ought to rearrange the team. Maybe we need a person who's a hybrid of this, or we bifurcate that, or whatever. So there are a lot of things related to jobs, and let's call it job descriptions, positions, new positions, those kind of things. This is especially important if you are an executive or if you are a very versatile resource where you can do a number of things. Business analyst, project manager, so on. Technologist who has a multidiscipline approach or knows many technologies. Marketing person who knows 4 of the 9 different ways to market. Those kinds of things. You should be on high alert for that. So that's the first thing that I want you to think about, is that more so than the other, say, 10 months of the year, the 10 months of the year between February and November, December and January is when companies feel creative. There's new inspirations, there's new budgets, there's new projects. So they take chances. And they start to try to think out of the box. So here's what I want you to do. If you are in the interviewing process, this first one is not necessarily something new. It's something that I want you to put a more concerted effort into doing, which is targeting organizations. So regardless of who you are, I've talked at length in other videos and in my job search masterclass and in a whole bunch of other stuff about the balance of how much time you should spend identifying organizations, targeting them, and so on. But what I want you to do now is I want you to go nuts. I want you to go absolutely crazy and make your primary focus, no matter who you are, concentrate on targeting organizations. If you do not know how to put a target company list together, back in January, so 10, 11 months ago, I did a live office hours on how to create a target company list for your job search. So I want you to go and I want you to identify organizations. This is going to be part of the challenge. I'm not giving this away, but I want you to focus more on that. Now, you might say, well, Andy, geez, you tell us to do that all the time. I do, but I want you to do it excessively now. And the bigger point I want to make on this is part B, which is I need you, in the spirit of what I mentioned about being open to the new jobs, is I need you to adjust your covers. I need you to adjust your cover letters, your emails, your introductions about yourself, your elevator pitches, you name it. I need you to adjust them. So let's step back a little bit, and I'll tell you exactly what I mean. If you've been following me, I know some of you come here every week, and I know some of you watch my videos, and I've got a number of them on cover letters. I've got several different cover letters that I recommend for different occasions. If you are not familiar with them, there's a whole cover letter playlist. Go knock your socks off. And in those cover letters, there's typically one point that is a common thread among all of them. That is, you need to hammer your highlight, who you are at the core and where your area of expertise is. And usually I only want you focusing on one thing, which is what you do the best, or what you did the best that was in relation to that organization and what it is that they either need from a product and service support standpoint or from a position standpoint. One. But this time of year, here's what I want you to do. Because there are so many opportunities for you to actually get plucked into a new role or be pulled into an organization because of your secondary or tertiary skill, you need to expand your cover letters to highlight your versatility. Feel free to use that word in the cover letters. Versatile range, including, and then list out the skills that you have. So maybe it's the 3 skills, not the one major skill that you have. Because what'll happen is people are going to look at you and they want versatile resources in the beginning of the year. They're not sure how things are going to go. They might want to create those new positions. They might hire you because you're a great cultural fit. You got good foundational abilities, and one of the skills or experiences you have, even though it's not your primary one, could be the reason that they pull you into the organization or invite you in for the interview. So that's the detraction. So watch your cover letters. The next thing is, because I know you are all putting my tactics in play in the interview. So now you get the interview. What do you do there? I need to look at my note card first. Okay, I want you to be on high alert. I want you to ask. I want you to ask about this. So here's what I mean. So the first thing is, when you get into the interview, and I know you may be going in for a particular position. Even if you're going in just for a position, you got the job description in hand, I don't care. When you get in there, I need you to be paying attention to what it is they're speaking about, what their project goals are, what this particular person is going to do for the organization, is going to do for the organization. But I also want you to pay attention to see if you're picking up on things that they're dropping where you have skills in these other areas that you might be able to speak to. The other thing that you can do is I want you to ask them when it's your time to ask questions. Say, hey, you know what? I know it's the end of the year. It's the beginning of a new year. I know a lot of companies, they're starting new projects. They're hiring different types of individuals. They're trying to come up with new and creative positions. Is this company, is your company doing any of that? That maybe the jobs aren't out there yet, or you're still trying to craft them, or are you doing anything differently? Ask them that. Ask them that. You will be wildly amazed at the stuff that they'll tell you that you couldn't find on their website, that you couldn't find a job that was open, that perfectly fit you, nicely wrapped and all. So just ask them about that. And you might also hear them talk about something that is a fit for you that they might not be ready to hire for yet. And you might be in the middle of a process for one thing that may or may not work out. But if it doesn't work out, there's something I want you to do a little later. But these are things I want you to be paying extra special attention to. Things at the end of the year, because of they're hiring for the new year, and at the new year because they're hiring for the new year, things are much more dynamic than they are the other 10 months of the year. So I want you to be on high alert, and I want you to make an explicit effort to ask for that. All right. I also want to go on to my next thing. Here's another one that I often tell you to do, but I want you to do this like on steroids. I want you to network like crazy. Now, I've talked to you about networking. I've told you how important it is if you are a junior or younger resource, or if you are a senior or older resource, and that you have more than a 1 in 4 chance of finding your job through somebody you know if you earn less than $100,000 or you're under 50. And I've also talked to you about you having about a 1 in 2 chance, 46%, if you are an older worker over 50 or you earn more than $100,000. And then I also talked to you about targeting your networking. In fact, I've got a video coming out in a couple of days on job search networking, and then I want you to do it in a targeted fashion. That's how I would normally teach it. But for this time of year, I want you to go nuts. I want you to call every person that you know. And the one different thing about this time of year that you don't have at your disposal at any other time of the year, truly at any other time, and I'm talking about because of the cluster of holidays, whether they're U.S.-based holidays or everybody or whatever you celebrate, I don't care. But Thanksgiving, all the holiday season, the new year, and so on, all of that stuff gives you a great excuse to reach out to anyone that you want. Now, if you can do it in a targeted fashion, go ahead. But you should be spending a tremendous amount of time networking right now, calling everybody you know, and using the holiday excuse if you need to. So if you've been bad at networking and you haven't been keeping up with these people, but you need to talk to them now because they can help facilitate your job search, I want you to call them and say, hey, 'tis the season. I'm reaching out to all my pals and my colleagues, and I'm trying to reconnect with people. I know I've been bad at this, but I want to connect. Can we have dinner, coffee, cocktails, ball game? I don't care what you do. But use the excuse because the excuse is there for you to use. And that way, you don't have to ask them for anything. Just say, hey, listen, I want to get together. I'd love to talk with you. Then when you do get together, I think there's where I've taught you before about how to get them to help you with your job search in potentially connecting you with an opportunity. But this time what I want you to do, in addition to that, if it may be, is I want you to gather intelligence. I want you to ask them, what are people doing at your company? What are they hiring for? What area seems to be hot? Have you heard of anything? Do you know of anything? Hey, just want to let you know I'm looking and all that good stuff. But if you gather some intelligence and you really get a feel for what's going on out there, you will be amazed at who will connect you with whom for whatever. So it's okay to be a little bit more aggressive. Hold on one second. I just want to, okay, there we go. Just wanted to make sure. I saw something beeping at me. Sorry about that. Okay, so I just want to make sure that you're doing that. It is okay to be more aggressive in the networking. So this here again, detraction from what I normally teach you. But if you could line up 2 people a day for the rest of the year and for the first and second week of January, go do that. Go do that. Get on the phone with them. I don't care what you're doing. Make the time, because if it's important to you, then make the time. The other thing is people are lazier around the holidays. They're around. They're not working nearly as hard. They take more coffee breaks, right? They work half days. They go shopping. Go shopping with them if you have to. Do whatever you have to do, but it's there. Trust me. Don't assume people are not working. Don't assume people are not around. And don't assume people don't want to talk to you. Okay, so I want you to go nuts. All right, number three. There are 2 kinds of companies this time of year. It's just like this all year, but they're especially like this now. 2 types. There are the panickers, and there are the ones that are overly patient. Rarely do you find a company who's got it dialed in appropriately. So you tend to have companies that are in panic mode and companies that are overly patient. What do I mean by this? Okay. Those that are panicking, they need to hurry and find people before January starts. You know, the kind where, like, if your butt isn't in the seat on January 2nd, the project is already behind because somebody's not working the stuff, okay? And they're so panicked because it's, well, right now that we're recording this, November 29th, or whenever you're watching this, I don't know, but they know that people are out on holiday. They know that the hiring officials aren't always where they need them to be. Anyway, they're starting to scramble. Then you have the other side of the coin. These people are the ones that are patient. They think, well, January, we're going to get lots of candidates and we'll be able to take our time and really vet them and come in with the perfect person, which is actually wrong, but that's what they think. I don't care what those companies do. I just want you to be aware that basically those are the kinds of behaviors that occur right now. Okay, so what can you do? Well, the thing that's most important for you is I want you to know which type of company you're dealing with. Which type of company you're dealing with. Are they a panicker and they're in a hurry, or are they patient and waiting it out? Don't assume that they would tell you that. So, because I don't want you to assume that, what do I want you to do? Well, I want you to ask them when and what happens. When and what happens. How often do you ask a company, when do you want to make this hire by? What's the date? What happens if you don't have somebody on that date? What happens? How many of you, I don't know, raise your hands, yell at me in the chat. How many of you actually ask those questions when you go to interview? But I'll tell you what, how beautiful is this? You're in a screen with a recruiter or an HR person or the email or whatever, and you say, hey, I'm just curious, what is your target hire date? Perfectly acceptable question. What happens if you don't have the person by that day? So if they say, well, I need somebody to, it's November 29th, I need somebody to start on January 2nd, otherwise the project's going to fall behind. Panicker. Well, everybody's in and out for the holidays, and so I'm the recruiter, and I'm starting to get this in motion. I'm starting to build up the candidate pipeline, so on, recruiter jargon, and so on. And, we really expect interviews to really pick up after the holidays, after everybody gets back to work. Patient. Okay, so what do you do? All I want you to do is either pick it up or slow it down based on which type of company you're dealing with. So if you're in the panicker mode, if you're dealing with a panicker, hey, I'm around. I'm available. I'm ready to roll. I love you. I'm willing to move now. So if you would like me to be, accommodating and rearrange my schedule, I'll be happy to do that. or you press your communications, or you send them more frequently than I would normally advise you to do. You get in there, you got to get out in front of everybody who's being patient and all that good stuff. If the organization is being patient and they're kind of pushing you off to the new year, but you need to roll now because, right, you need to pay for that holiday food, then what I need you to do is I need you to communicate with them and stay in touch with them and make sure that you are, to the extent that you can, either just staying in touch, or if you are moving along with your interviewing processes and you've got companies that are looking promising, so you need to communicate that back to the patient organizations. Hey, just wanted to check in, let you know I'm on with so-and-so. I'm going to be going into a final interview or whatever. Just wanted to check to see if you wanted to get engaged before the end of the year. That kind of stuff. So you can kind of play and make the adjustments. Because I know a lot of you ask me every week, you ask me, well, how long should I wait to do this? Or how long should I wait to follow up on the app? Or how long should I wait after the interview? Figure out whether they're a panicker or a patienter, or whatever, we want to call those people. And so I want you to adjust. I want you to adjust accordingly. All right, so wait. So those are, I can't even count. All right, those are the 3 tips, right? So I want you to make sure that you are on high alert for those new opportunities, new positions, new types, new things you might not have heard of or whatever. That's number 1. Number 2, network like crazy. Use the holidays excuse. And number 3, determine whether they're being a patient organization or a panicking organization. All right, those are those 3. Now, I got a bonus for you because it's the holidays and we got to have the bonuses. All right, this one I'm calling my January bonus. January bonus. All right, here's the next thing I want you to do. As you go through the next 6 weeks of interviewing or whatever it is, a bunch of things are going to happen. You're either going to get hired, hopefully, yay. All right, so you're going to go through the process. If you go through the process, so between now and let's say the middle of January, so like the next 6 weeks, give or take, what I want you to do is if you get rejected by any of these organizations, I want you to make sure that you follow up by the end of January. Okay, so what do I mean? Well, I just got done saying that there's those employees out there that drag their feet. They're waiting to see if they got promoted. They're waiting to collect their bonus, whatever it might be. Okay, so those people that you're competing with for these jobs. Well, those companies you're interviewing with, they have those people too. So what happens? Those people leave. People vacate the company that you were interviewing for. Now, don't assume that when that happens, that the employer is just going to call you back. It doesn't mean they don't love you. It's just a lot of times they don't think that way and they're always looking forward. That's just how recruiters are. But for you, if you get rejected and you truly love the company, I want you to go check out, if you have not already, I got a rejected video. It's called How to Get the Job After Being Rejected. So for any of these next weeks, if you don't get hired by an organization that you really like, I do not care what the reason is, check that video out. I give you the exact language as your parting letter to them to go out with some class. I get dozens of emails every week from people who've watched that video, who've done that thing, who've now gotten jobs because of that video. It is my single number 1 emailed about video. So go check that out. And then whenever that is, so between now and January 15th, then at January 31st or really early in February, send them an email and say, hey, I know this didn't work out, but I really loved your organization. I'd love to know if anything is, have you hired somebody for the position? Maybe yes, maybe no. Has anything changed? Has anything new come up or whatever? Trust me, a ton happens between January 1st and January 31st. Why? Because when you put a plan in place, you're planning typically with history in mind. Then you start executing the plan, and what happens? You realize you didn't plan correctly. You need to make adjustments. People left. You didn't know they were going to leave, and all that good stuff. So that will give you another excuse to reach into the organization. You will be amazed at how much will have changed in 30 days. In 30 days. Don't forget to do that. Don't forget to do that. So part with, I got the rejected. It's a combo cover letter thank you email. And it's very, very powerful. All right. So I mentioned a challenge. This challenge is 14 days. The reason the challenge is 14 days is because my lovely wife, Linda, turns 50 right during your live office hours next week, which means I'm not going to be here because we're going to be on a beach somewhere in a bar that she's going to drag me to with a bunch of her friends and my friends, and we're going to have a good time. So I'm going to be back the following week. And here's what I want to do. So that I can get you in motion and focusing on the right stuff that I not just believe, but statistically has proven to lead to success faster and is a lot more fun and will hopefully recondition you in the way in which you approach your search. I've got a 3-step challenge that we're going to do every day for the next 14 days. And I'm not just going to throw this at you because I invite you to email me, and I'll be clear about that in a second. All right. First thing that I want you to do is when we get off this session is I want you to identify 3 companies every single day for the next 14 days, that's 42 companies, that you could potentially work at. So for all you job seekers out there, 3 companies per day. I do not care if they have an opening. It makes no difference. It has nothing to do with job openings. Find companies that you would like to work for or you could research or think might be a good fit for you based on the product or service they offer or the types of positions they and people that they need, whatever it might be, location, whatever your criteria is, 3 a day. Now, a lot of you can get off this session and go do that in an hour. You could. And I encourage you to do that. But I still would like you, challenge-wise, to do 3 each day because different stuff will happen as you have a steady diet of this each day. You will start to uncover things that you would not if you sat for an hour and banged out 42 companies. So 3 companies a day, 42 companies, 14 days. All right, next thing is at those 3 companies that you identified, can you find one person that you can contact potentially? It could be the hiring official. It could be the recruiter. It could be the HR person. It could be the janitor. It could be the executive assistant. It could be the chief operations. I don't care who it is in the organization. Somebody that you could find, at least one person, doesn't have to be just one person, but at least one person, and put them on a list. That's 3 companies, 1 person per company. So that's 3 people per day. That's the minimum. Then each day, I want you to take 1 step, just 1 step. Is that a song, like just 1 step? Okay, just 1 step to move yourself toward working at that company through that person that you identified. So it could be contacting that person directly, sending them an email, opening up a relationship. I've got a boss hunting cover letter that I'll throw up in the card or wherever when this is recorded. It could be contacting them directly. It could be submitting your resume to them. It could be sending them an email. It could be emailing a friend to contact that person or get an introduction. Hey, I see you know Susie over at company XYZ. That counts. Taking 1 step. So 1 step toward getting to that person. And then you have to get that person to get you in and all that good stuff. Okay, so that's the challenge. Now, if you do the challenge, here you go. I think you guys are all mathematicians. That's 42 companies, it's 42 individuals, and it's 42 steps. Those steps could be emails, phone calls, texts, tweets, fax. I don't care what you do, but something that moves you to reach to that to reach out to that person, to put it in motion, to get you into that company every single day. Now, I have 2 other things on this. The applicant tracking system submission does not count, 0 points. Okay? Putting your resume into an applicant tracking system does not count, 0. Except the only exception is, hey, I found a company. Hey, I found a person. Hey, I emailed the person. The person said, hey, thanks. That's great. Can you put your resume in the applicant tracking system? That already counted. So, but applicant tracking systems count 0. And then here's what I invite you to do. Anytime between now and December 13th, I want you to email me at support@milewalk.com. Just email me and tell me what's going on. Tell me what's happening. Tell me what you're struggling with. Tell me what you're killing, what you're nailing, what's working, what's happening, all those interviews you're getting, all that good stuff. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that stuff and then I'm going to look at it, and then I'm going to address it a week from Thursday. So on December 13th, when I come back, I'll come back to you. Then we'll go through it, and I'll call out whatever the issues were, and then I'll give you more tips and tricks. But I want to pair this together because I don't want to just throw a challenge at you and not be here for you. I mean, who does that? Okay, so that's the challenge. That's the challenge. Now, where am I now? Okay, I got stuff for you. Okay, I got stuff for you. Let me see. Wait, this I had a list because there was so much. Okay, on Tuesday, I think I mentioned this. I got a video coming up on networking. So that's Tuesday. It's one of those recorded fashion ones. It is about targeting your network and all that good stuff. But I want you to keep this content in mind as you network. So be on the lookout for that. I've got a free live event coming up. Kara, could you put this in the? It's in the description, but can you put it in the chat? I've got a free live, one-time, no replay event on December 14th at noon Eastern. It is job searching for executives as well as professionals over 50. Now, you don't have to be an executive and you don't have to be over 50 to come, but it's going to be some really, really neat stuff. And for those of you that have seen my resume writing class, it's kind of like that. I'm going to give you some emails in advance with some lessons. You got to register by December 10th. So I don't know when you're watching this. If you're here with me live, you know what day it is, but we might be past the deadline. But either which way, I've got that free. It's live. I'm there with you. It's going to be a ton of fun. I got some really cool, slick stuff. All right. I also want to let you know, if you haven't grabbed Interview Intervention, this is the hard book is free. And the ebook and the audiobook and my other ebook, How to Interview the Employer, 75 Great Questions to Ask Before You Take Any Job. All that's free. I shipped this anywhere in the world for $7 shipping and handling. If you have not grabbed it, please do. And I got a couple of neat assessments and checklists. I'm actually in a demo one right now. For those of you who are on my email list, I love Michael Hyatt. I've been with him for years. I've taken a ton of his training. And I enroll in Best Year Ever every year. This is like 5th year running. And so I'm introducing some of his free tools to my community between now and like the middle of December. He's got a life score assessment, is a neat tool where you take it. It's a couple of like 10 questions, different areas of your life. Takes about 5 minutes, gives you a score, gives you a video. And then over the next couple of weeks, he's got a video series that's free and a webinar that's free. I attend all this stuff, but I love it. I've been using it. It's free. I'm bringing it out to you. If you got the email from me yesterday, check it out. You can sign up for his free video series and probably, like I do, email you every couple days with a video. That'll happen. It's awesome, and it'll help you with your entire life, all the major facets that are typically important to people. One other thing is, I don't know, last year, and by the way, I'm going to show you the inside of this here in a minute. If you have not seen this, this is my 10 by 10 job search formula. These are the 10 most important areas for job searching. So wait, I'm gonna show you this here in a second and what's inside it. This is free. I put it in the description. I want you to check it out. This is okay. So here it is. This is the, there it is. There's a little bit about me, so you can have some links to the things that I think will be important. Now, in the spirit of being able to assess yourself, I highlighted the 10 most important areas that I think everybody needs to focus on when they're job searching. The self-assessment, and then I give you some guidelines here. You can rate yourself and all, hang on, there you go, and all that good stuff. And then it just goes through investigation, marketing yourself, pitching, searching, networking, preparing, interviewing, continuing, negotiating, and so on. And then you add them up and I give you some guidelines. But wait, I don't just leave you there. Okay, so then there's a grid in the back of this thing that highlights each of the areas, the biggest mistakes that people make related to them, and then what the pro tip is that you should do instead. So I give you this whole thing, and it's a neat checklist. it will help you immediately diagnose the problem areas in your search. It's a great giveaway. At the back, there's some other things that we have, but basically you can check that out. Now, one other thing I want to show you guys, this is not a sales pitch because I certainly don't have anything to offer you here, but I want to show you something about my job search bootcamp that I just want to make you aware of, because if you enjoyed some of the stuff that I just mentioned to you, then what I want you to see is, I'm not going to read the page to you. My bootcamp, for those of you that are not familiar, it's my signature course. It covers everything. It is the best deal in town. But I want to make you guys aware of this, that we've got some extra things in the bootcamp that if you are loving this and you are interested, I want you to know this is coming up. And I also want to show you something else. And for those of you that are boot campers that are actually here, I want you to see this. Now, we did a resume session a couple of weeks ago. I covered every single scenario that I could think of that had exceptions to it. So, things like unusual titles, corporate acquisitions, contracting, stay-at-home parents, employment gaps, and so on. But what I wanted to show you here is, if you are loving this, I'm doing a whole session on the 19th in my boot camp. It's a private session in my boot camp where I'm diving deep on a lot of the stuff that I talked with you about today. So if you are interested in the boot camp, I invite you to email me at support@milewalk.com, and I will give you a little discount on the program for the base package. But here's one other thing that I want you guys to see that I've never shown you, and the only reason you've never seen it is because we just put it up the other day. So I know the bootcamp is going to help you find your dream job, but I have built a course that I'm giving to all my boot campers, because after you get that job, I want you to crush it. So I built this $400 career accelerator. It's just like the boot camp. It's 5 sessions, and we go into your first 90 days. We go into the 12 steps that you need to do immediately, like when you start your job, like the day you walk in the office on day 1. What do you do to make sure that you get promoted within that first year? What are the 12 steps that you need to do, and how do you need to plan for that? I take you through my excellence planning. This one here is the idea generation, key to success. What are the projects you should be working on? And then I take you through all my organizational stuff. So all my tactics, everything, master lists, quarterlies, monthlies, weekly breakdowns, how to prioritize, how to know what to work on every single day, all that good stuff. And then the performance review and everything you need to collect and prepare and reflect on, and how to make your argument. So all you boot campers, we got the December 19th session coming up, and then these are so the boot camp is going to be done live in January. So if you are interested in enrolling, then what you can do is you can get right in. Everything's already recorded for you. All the modules are already done, and then I'm going to do the career accelerator with you live in February. So you're going to see me 10 times, January and February. And that's just within the context of this one program. If you're interested in it, let me know. It's totally, totally fun, totally, totally cool. And you have my undying love forever and ever. And we make sure you get to where you want to go. Okay, so that's it. That's all I had today. 43 minutes. All right, if you're loving this, click the like button, share it, and all that good stuff. Let's go to the Q&A. And but I wanted you to know that this is really a lot of fun. We've been working a lot of hard on bringing you guys a lot of value on the free side and on the paid side. And I know some of you, you always like to see kind of what's inside these programs, but this is going to be a really, really ton of fun. So anyway, if you're watching this on the recording, I'll see you next week. Actually, I'll see you Tuesday in video. For everybody else, let me go to the chat. How are we doing here? 172 people. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right, hope everybody's having fun. That was a ton of fun for me. I got a lot of time for you guys today. All right, Connie, how are you? Connie's Rachel, and Gino. All 3 boot campers. Gino's our newest, maybe one of our newest boot campers. I don't know if you were the last one in, but you were recent, and great to have you. Great to have you, and glad you're having your coffee. All right, let's see. What do we got? Rachel's got a question. Counts 800. Rachel, just write in the chat. And Rachel, you're a boot camper. You have access to me 24/7. Or send it in the system. But either which way, and I will be happy to answer it if I come across it here. Gino, great to have you. Can we all give Gino a big hug? Not only is he a first-time live office hour, he's a boot camper, which we love. Mike Morgan, how are you? We appreciate you more than we can accurately express. Thank you for that. Please keep on lifting. You got it. I'm not going anywhere. If you guys ain't sick of me yet, I'm going to try to make you sick of me in 2019, because man, I'm gonna be live so much, you guys are gonna love it. All right, or hate it. Let me see. Yeah, Kim, break it up. Ingrid, how are you? A boot camper. Dan Morris, a boot camper. AR, how are you? Danny's a boot camper. Manisha, how you doing? Julio's a boot camper. Sue's a boot camper. Look at that. Lisa's a boot camper. Sherry's a boot camper. Shane's a boot camper. May, how are you? May, get in the boot camp. Tashel's a boot camper. How are you, Jess? Great to see you. 1 o'clock in the morning? Yeesh. M. Majchur, how are you from London? Kay's a boot camper. Hey, Kay. Claudia? Wilma's a boot camper. Oh, man, you guys. Amy D's a first-timer. Amy, I love your comments on my YouTube channel. Thank you for those. You lift my spirits. I'm glad I lift yours. All right. Stacy K, how are you? All right. Ooh, let's see. I love you guys are chitty-chatting here. Let me see. Whoop. All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Peter, how are you, boot camper? Hey, buddy, got your... By the way, the Michael Hyatt assessment thing, and for those of you that are on... I know a lot of you are on my email list, and I sent you that on Wednesday, and I invited you to take it and to email me. Everybody who emailed me yesterday, Wednesday, when I sent it out, I've emailed you back with either tactics, help, or pat on the back support, or whatever you need. But it's great for me to know as your coach. I love that you whether you're in the paid programs or you're just in the free community, I invite you to take the life score and send it to me, because we're trying to work this in, and you are going to get a lot more from me in 2019 on leadership, organization, life stuff, a lot of free stuff, and a subscription that's going to have leadership coaching. So everything that goes along with that, I'd love to hear it. I'd love your feedback. I'd love to know if you enjoyed it. So I appreciate, you engaging. Mark Franklin, I got your email. Hang in there. Mike Morgan, I'm new but have a cold, so no hugs. All right, but Mike, we'll give you the virtual hug, the fist bump. Denise, how are you? All right, Rachel, here we go. I received the interview invitation from one of the target companies. Awesome. Although this is an internship. Okay. I think it's a great opportunity to adjust. Yes. Rachel, I'm not sure. Okay, wait. I see it. So by the way, for those of you who do not know Rachel, she is in Korea and moving to Germany. And if we have any German friends out there that can connect up with Rachel and help her with the German culture, that would be great. We do that in the Mile Walk Academy Facebook groups. They've been supportive, but the more help, the better. I just want to get confirmation and advice. Would it look okay in my resume later on after 10 years of relevant work and then doing volunteer work? Yes, folks. So think of it this way. If you are making any kind of wholesale change, and I'll give you some examples of what I mean. And Rachel, this is actually, Kara, can you do me a favor? Can we add this to the content list? Maybe we put a video or a live office hours on this about when we make changes and what are those good ways to make them, how to prepare for them, and how to do them, and then how to explain them. I think that would be a great live office hours. I know a lot of you go through this. We've got people who want to make career changes. We have people who want to make location changes like Rachel. We've got career changes, location changes. We've got stay-at-home parents. We've got people who want to go travel the world. We have people who simply have to take care of their elderly parents or their children. So you got tons of things that people do that take you out of the workforce or make you make a change to something. I love all of that, and actually I encourage all of you to do that if you want to. I don't like the expression life is short. Life isn't short if if you spend it doing the wrong stuff, it's short. But if you spend it doing stuff you love and things you want to focus on, life can be very long and fulfilling in a great way. So, Rachel, you want to make the move. I would make the move, and I would do anything. I repeat, anything that you can afford to do to move from where you are to where you want to be geographically. And any employer will understand perfectly that it was important for me to relocate because, whatever that reason is, family, friends, adventure, I don't care what it is, it was important for me to relocate because. And the best way for me to do that at the time was to take this position. And it got me to the country. And it got me great skills and insight and so on. That's all. You can package that up beautifully. And I can, obviously as a boot camper, I can even help you do that. But that is totally okay. That's your story. That's the explanation. And you're a high-flying, finance exec, right? I mean, we worked on that resume. It looks great. So the fact that you want to move, that's easily explained. And my guess is, and trust me, when you get there, it will be easier to find a job if you want to make another shift. And if you are volunteering and you've been volunteering for a month and you get into your job search full force, that's totally okay. That's totally okay. And if somebody says, well, what are you doing now? And you say, well, I'm volunteering and here I am, because it was important for me and I felt to give myself a better advantage was to get into the country and look while I'm here to make it easier. That to me is your story. That's your story. I would 100% do it. I have the confidence to go do it. All right, Rick, how are you? It's another boot camper. Tony D, you're new. Welcome. Love new people. You got to have new people, right? Watched all your videos. Oh, my. I'm impressed. Thank you for that. There's a lot of those. There's 150 videos on the YouTube channel. There's something like that. I got a spreadsheet of all of them. I don't know how you made it through all of them, but God bless you. Jess, how are you? Thank you for the tree. I had nothing to do with putting up that tree in my office. My wife is like a little mechanism, a little tree putting up machine. And I don't think she really wants me anywhere. She just wants me to kind of sit in the corner and, talk to her. Okay. No, actually, we do a lot of stuff together, but putting up trees is not one of them. All right. Thanks. Amy, glad you like it. Cecilia, how are you? Another boot camper. Amy D, love the shirt. Thank you. Actually, no one shops for me, but my wife bought me this shirt too. Jason Garrett, how are you, buddy? Hope the new job is going well. By the way, Jason, I dropped your signed book in the mail the other day, Monday, I think it was. Folks, yeah, when you're in the boot camp, you get a free interview intervention book that comes from the warehouse. But lots of times people already buy that book or pay the $7 shipping handling. So then I send them another one, and that's what I did. And you and actually Dan Morris, you're here too. I signed yours and a bunch of others. All right, Dorian, how are you? Shiza, how are you? Timothy Branch, hey, how you doing, buddy? Catalin, hey. Blitz, good to see you. Carl Larson! Hey, we missed you at the leadership thing, man. Okay, wait, Rachel, I think isn't that. I would greatly appreciate if you could quickly remind me of your ACE interview prep tips. I pray for the day coming sooner. Rachel, I'm not sure what you mean. You do have the interview intervention book, and you do have the Ace Your Job interview ebook in your boot camp in session 4. All right, Joshua, how are you? Wilma. Okay, wait, the mugs? I'm working on Mile Walk Academy mugs. All in due time. That's probably going to be a 2019 early in the year thing for the boot campers. I'm doing all the whole swag thing. I think I'm going to build my own planner and write another book. I got all kinds of projects going on. All right. Keith, how are you? Thank you. Boot camper. Good to see you. Karen's Journey, how are you? Steve Smith, how are you? Another boot camper. Hey. Oh, hey, this is a good one. Okay. Steve Smith, I think I'm gonna like this one. We get this one a lot. All right, Steve's asking, I am getting a number of inquiries for short-term, like 3-month, temporary positions. Obviously want more long-term permanent. Are they worth entertaining? Steve, great question. Everybody, here's my advice. It will never change. This will never change. I will give you the same advice all the time as it relates to contract work. This is incredibly popular for people that are more tenured, that are more senior, that have more experience, that are more expensive. And what a lot of times what organizations are doing, and by the way, contractors will never go out of style, okay? So if you are a contractor, knock your socks off. There will always be organizations who want to hire consultants and contractors. If you are a more tenured worker, like Steve is, and you are in the job search and you're looking for your full-time assignment or your full-time employment, but you are running into a situation where organizations want to offer you a temporary assignment, I say if you like the organization, meaning, if you like that job and you like that company, I would take it if you like the organization and if you feel, compensation and putting food on the table is always a factor. But if you take that assignment, which I do recommend that you entertain if you like it, number one, you want to make sure that you are clear with them up front. Hey, is there an opportunity to become a full-time employee after 90 days or 3 months or whatever it is? If so, what do I need to do in order to be converted? Get your success metrics. We just got to talk about that up front. Get that, and then you want to make sure that you're weekly or at least semi-monthly interacting with your boss and to see how you're coming along, get the feedback and so forth to work toward that. Then what I would do while I was doing my 3-month assignment is I would be full on job searching. And because when you're searching, when you are at least in a contract, you have more leverage than when you're unemployed. So go ahead, continue to search. Hopefully you'll, if something surfaces, then what I would do, and if it comes to fruition, then I would go back to the company you're contracted with and say, hey, I actually have an opportunity. And then you can do a couple things. I like working with you. Is there an opportunity you can convert me? Otherwise, I'm going to take this thing. You don't need to say that, but you know what I mean? Not in a defensive way, but just say, hey, look, I would love to work here, but, I got to do what's right for me. Everybody will understand that. Here's my 2-week notice or whatever, and you're out. And then you go to the other one. So I love it. I say do it, and especially for you, you know what I mean? When you do 3-month assignments, it's the best interview an employer can have. You're going to meet more people. You're working, I'm assuming, in your space and you're doing your stuff, which is gonna keep you engaged. It'll shrink whatever gap you have on your on your resume, and every employer in the world knows that this happens now. It's becoming more and more popular because the more senior people are more expensive. So to try you out on a 3-month assignment or to kind of spot hire for projects, companies are cool with that. They're going to continue to do it. They will continue to do it. So they're going to look at your resume and think, okay, well, that's what you did. That's why I did what I had to do. I would do it. I wouldn't hesitate as long as you like it. Hey, DeVita, how are you? Another boot camper. Sue is a boot camper, and snow in the ground, supposed to be 72. I know, Sue, I know. We got a foot of snow by our house Sunday, and then we had another handful of inches last night. All right, May. If you started a new job, how early or long should you have worked there in order to update it on your LinkedIn profile without giving the wrong impression to your new employer? If you start a new job, May, you can put it on your LinkedIn profile the minute you start. No problem. No problem. That's totally okay. Totally okay. Don't worry. That's what I would assume you would do. That's the new job. You got a new job. Mark, how are you? Wow. And Annie has a really clear image today. You know what? You guys would not believe this. The lights. Okay, that's the front of my office. You normally see the back of my office and you never see the side of that right? The side of my office with all the books. The light is literally like I could reach out and touch these huge big box lights. They're like, I don't know, like a foot on the other side of me. When I sit the other way, because there's not as much light, the lights are further back. So I had to get them really, really close. We just start seeing me sweating here in a minute. Oh yeah, thanks. Daniel Gomez, Florida. We're coming to Florida, buddy. Not too far from Orlando for my wife's birthday, coming into Clearwater. All right, good morning, Badir. I think that's how you say your name. Keith, how are you? I'm applying for a job online. For each position in my career history, it asks for ad requires the following. Where'd you go? Oh, Keith, where are you? Can't find the rest, man. All right, I'll keep looking for it. Keith, by the way, if I don't get to that today, either dump it on the recording here or put it in the boot camp. Michelle Middleton, how are you? A beloved boot camper. I think you might have been in the first boot camp ever. We just did boot camp 6. We're coming up on boot camp 7. All right. Elena, how are you? Barcelona, love it. Gino, Cypress, California. Hopefully you're not near the fires, buddy. Nice W. Wait, is that Patty? I think that is. Rory Zombie Review, how you doing? Adeb, how are you? Yemen. Joshua, great to have you. Blitz, nice match. I know. Right, like check that out. How weird is that? Oh, thank you. I'm serious, man. I'm gonna try to match my coffee mug. I don't know how far I'm gonna get with that. All right. Greetings from Athens, Georgia. Blitz, cool. Bring the matching coffee mug. I love it. Nina, good to have ya. All right, May, here we go. Okay, so wait, May's got a great one here. After getting hired, what does it mean when a company gives you a little more than you made from your previous job when you didn't ask for an increase? Was I underpaid? May, great question. So actually, I would like, this is so rich, this question. I want to bring it back a little bit, like I like to do, because I want to, because that's somewhat of a yes or no question, and obviously I can't answer yes or no because I don't understand all the circumstances. But let me share some things. We have this. Everybody has this notion that if I change jobs, not saying. I don't want to make a blanket statement. I just want, in general, roll with me on this. You get my drift. Most people think, hey, if I'm going to make a change, if I'm employed and I make a change, I'd like to have a pay increase because that's just what happens. And there's pain in changing, and there really is no reason if I should change. If you're money motivated or whatever. And then there's other people who say, well, I'm unemployed. I would be happy to make something near what I was making. Some people think, well, I'm underpaid. Should I want to leave for a big pay increase? I almost want to have all of you completely wipe your mind of that there is no such thing as market pay. There is no such thing as you should make this. There really isn't. I know we talk about it and it becomes common to discuss this, or employers use this crap. It's just not true. An employer determines, whoever that employer is, what it is that they want to pay you based on the value that they think you're going to bring, what you can bring to the table, and in many cases, what they can afford. Now, I know people who have tripled their pay by just moving. I know people who've taken pay cuts. I know people who've gotten more or less the same amount. There's many different things that go into comp, and it's not just your salary. It could be your bonuses. It could be your vacation time, your benefits, stock, restricted stock, incentive stock, all that good stuff. So there's many different forms. The fact that somebody gave you a pay increase is wonderful, and that doesn't mean you were being underpaid. And it doesn't mean that this company is overpaying you. This company could be theoretically paying you less than it might have paid you. So I don't have a definitive answer. Were you underpaid or are you not? I don't know what you were doing. I don't know how much you were earning. I don't know what country, that this was in and all that good stuff. The point I'm trying to make to everybody is You place value on what you think you're worth. However, you demonstrate that value in interviews with employers. The better you interview and the more they like you, the more they're going to pay. The more you like them, the less you're willing to take because you want to work there and you might have some other factors. No one can tell you what you should earn or what you should expect or any of that stuff. And a lot of times what I see is the biggest issue is that people are worth more than they are worth more compensation, but do not interview to their potential at the time they have to make that impression, to put that on the employer. And a lot of times people come to me and say, well, I got an offer, but I think I'm worth more. And my typical response, not in a snarky kind of way, is, but what probably happened is you just didn't demonstrate that. Or you didn't convince them of that. Or you didn't hold your ground or whatever. There's many things that you could have done. And I have I want to leave you off with this. I do have, and you know what, if you've just got a new job, it might, but tuck this away for later. I've got a video out there titled Why You Don't Get Paid What You Deserve. I've got another one about the steps to take to get paid what you're worth. And they're good. They take you through the interviewing process and where you gain points, where you lose points, and all that good stuff. But it doesn't necessarily mean that. So you have to know that. It's just there's no hard and fast rules. So I hope that helped. Marco, first time. Man, we got a lot of first timers here. Love it. Akash, great to see you. Brooke Sachs, boot camper, love it. Thank you for emailing me your results. I love that. All right. And your resume. I think that was you too. Robert Tatum, great to see you. Raven, is it weak applying for a job in a country I have not visited before but only researched? I would not call it weak. I'd call you adventurous. I would, if I was your coach, if I was like sitting down with you one-on-one, the first thing that I would tell you to do is write out a list of all your requirements and all the things that drive your happiness and all that good stuff. And then because you want to move to a new country, what are all the things that you need in your living, meaning your geography and the things that do you want it quiet? Do you like it busy? Do you like quick access to places and all that good stuff? And then I would try to match up, whether, your requirements match up to the country that you're targeting. That's just good research. So that's what I would do. I don't have commentary on if it's weak or strong or any of that, but what I would do, Robin, is I would make sure that you identify what makes you happy, around your life, around your, right? When we bought this house a year ago, we had to have requirements of what we needed based on what was going to make us happy. It's no different if you're going to a country. I mean, and it's also really no different in a relationship or anything like that. All right, Kevin, how are you? South Africa, would like to know the best way to get a job from Canada. I'm Baker, who has 15 years of experience. When I'm applying online for jobs, they don't reply. So I would, not sure where the rest of that. Oh, I'd like to know how to get to Canada. I don't know how to answer that. I do have a video about how to get a job out of state. And it doesn't matter. It could be out of country or whatever. I just have to title the video some which way. But there's 9 tactics. I would refer you to that. And I would check that out. And that goes for any country and any state in the U.S. and any country in the world. That's what I would do. I would have the same approach. It's what I advise Rachel to do, trying to move from Korea to Germany. Same thing. All right, if you guys are loving this, click the like button, share it, let me know. By the way, I'm gonna keep rolling here for a little while. We're gonna go another 22 minutes or whatever. But what I want to say this just in case I don't get to the questions. If you're ever at a live office hours and I don't get to your question, YouTube records this and then I leave it up. And then there's you see the thumbnail or whatever, and then the post sits. And you just go in the comments and drop your comment in there. And then what happens is, because I do this on Thursdays usually, then on the weekend, I try to catch up on those comments. And I try to be responsive. You got the best chance of getting responses from me the sooner after I shoot the video or the live stream or whatever. and when it's released, because then, because we're engaged, and I want to make sure you're, if you're watching right away, that I get to you right away. So just tuck that away. All right. Okay. Deb. All right. How can I show employers that I'm perfectly fit to the announced position, and how to make them seek to hire me? Okay, so a couple things. I'm actually, to respond to you, I'm going to refer you to a couple or three different spots. One of them is, it's a kind of a two-pronger. The tell me about yourself question and the walk me through your resume. I have videos for each of those. They're very popular videos. Check those out. That'll help you with the openers if they do ask you to do that. I also have a video, and oh goodness, I know I'm going to probably butcher this. Maybe Kara can drop it in the chat. Kara, we'll see if Kara's on her toes. I have a video out there. It was a live office hours that I did early in the year about how to spin the job description. How to leverage the job description to get hired. I probably had some catchy title to it, but it's about the job description, how to use the job description to get hired. Something like that. If you search my YouTube channel for the titles for job description, it will come up, and that's how I would answer the question and map your skills to the job description. It's a very, very prescriptive video. Okay, it's like one of these where I really get into it for like 20 or 30 minutes, and I show you how to take that JD and knock it out But that's what I would do. RT, how are you? Hey man, I got your email. I am going to be catching up on emails this weekend, and we will get you set up. Marco, how you doing? I'm in the process and have already had 2 interviews. Awesome. I have been told that there is a 3rd interview with a panel. Okay, it's kind of normal. And present my ideas for the position in a 10-minute presentation. Yes, Marco. Awesome. Okay, so first thing is, when you are going to go and have a panel interview, I have a video out there for how to ace the panel interview. So check that out. Okay, that's the first thing. That's going to help you with the mechanics of the interview, how to interview effectively, the engagement stuff, how to work the room and everything. How to ace or something like that. How to nail the panel interview, or whatever I called it. Panel interview. So I didn't call it group interview, I called it panel interview, just like you did. The second thing is, when you have a presentation, obviously you want the presentation. I don't know what the presentation is about, but here's some general things that go over well. Whatever it is, you want to work it from strategy down to design, down to the tactics, down to the plan. Okay, so what's the overarching business issue? What is it how does it fit in what you're presenting into the overall solution of what they need, strategy of what they are trying to implement, and the solution that they need, and then how would you do it? What and how, okay? When you create that presentation, you always need to assume something's going to go wrong. Like, if it's on a projector, meaning like a screen, like my TV screen here or whatever, or a computer screen or whatever they're going to, video screen or whatever, assume it'll break. You want to make sure you have hard copies of everything, how many people are going to be in the room, hard copies of everything. If somebody is not going to be geographically located with you, it might be a good idea to email them the presentation, or make sure it is circulated. Actually say that, consciously say that. You will look like a genius if something breaks and you have the paper or you have the whatever. And the more engaging that you can make it. If you talk for 10 minutes and then they don't say anything along the way, those are usually not as great. They're certainly not as fun. But if you can somehow make it interactive, or if you can't figure out a way to make it interactive, which you can always do in your speech, in your presentation, is engage them in some way and have them confirm something that you assumed. So by that I mean, I made the assumption panel that we were going to do this way, so then I'm going to do this way because of that. Is that correct? Just some way to break up and make it a little bit more interactive. That's the easiest trick in the book to get somebody to speak up. And even if they don't speak but they nod, you at least got some form of feedback from them that, hey, you're on the right track. Those are things that I think are just really easy to put in there. Doesn't take a lot to do that. And but that's the way I would go about it. And without knowing the content, if I knew the exact content of what you had to present, I could tell you exactly what to pitch. But that's how I would do that. I hope that helped. Keith, how are you? All right. Keith is asking me, online app requires company address, telephone number, start and end date. Okay, starting and ending salary, manager and telephone number. Can we want them to contact 2 prior managers, not most recent 2? Recommendation. Yeah, just say yes or no. No, I'm not being funny. First off. Okay, wait, I'm going to go on a total opinion rant here. Keith, this has nothing to do with you. I love you. I mean, it's just nothing to do with you. I cannot stand, folks, when companies want to call past employers. I can't stand that. Because let me tell you why. I know that may sound ridiculous, but you know what? For umpteen reasons, you might not have got along with them. Those people might be morons, right? Who knows? Who knows what happened? So I would rather take you through a thorough interviewing process and assess for myself based on my evaluation of you. And if I really want, I could ask for some references, and I know you're only going to give good references, and Keith said, he only wants them to contact certain managers and not others. But I just don't think it's fair to you to just to ask them for your prior boss, and especially if you're actually still working at a company, then they should not be contacting that company until it's all sewn up, if at all. So I don't have a problem with you saying no, you can't contact those people. I've lost touch with them. I don't know where they are. I don't care what you say, Keith. I would not be overly concerned by that. What most of them will do, what most companies will do, like 95%, is, first off, that's a lot. Most companies don't even ask you for that level of detail, like with past supervisors and so on. Most of them don't. Some of them do, obviously. But they'll ask you for references. And just if they say, why can't we contact these other managers, say, well, I've lost touch with them. It's been, I don't know. I'm just not in touch with them. So I don't think you need to get into a big explanation there. I also question companies who do that stuff, right? I mean, come on, man. It's 2018, almost 2019. Aren't we all adults here? All right. Nice W is 75. Hiring manager asked me how I'd rate position from 1 to 10. Okay, wait, let me see if I can make sense of this. I think it's Patty, right? I think a hiring manager asked me how I'd rate the position from 1 to 10. I don't know what that actually means, meaning like in your strength and how you align. I told him it's impossible at the moment due to unknown variables. That's right. I don't work there yet. I'm a finalist with another candidate. Did I answer his question wisely? So here's what I would do. If somebody asks me to rate a 1 to 10, I need to understand what the criteria is. So you're gonna have to explain to me before I give you a number. What's a 10? What's a 7? What's a 4? And what's a 1? Okay, so give me the guidelines. So what are the parameters? And then as you're giving me those, then I will ask you for more information and I will make my assessment based on that. And that's all. And you know what? Honestly, here again, I think it's a stupid question. This is not your fault. I think it's a stupid question because you don't have information. It's a totally uneducated answer. And how do you know? You might undercut yourself or you might oversell yourself because you didn't know. So I would say, okay, I'm happy to answer that. Can you give me some guidelines? What's a 1? What's a 4? What's a 7? What's a 10? And will you clear? And then I'll tell you. But that's what I would do. I probably, so to try to give you a better feedback here, I would, there is nothing wrong, all of you, there's nothing wrong with asking a question in the wake of a question if you are asking for clarification. Okay, when people say, well, you can't answer a question with a question, that's the dumbest advice I've ever heard. You didn't ask a question. If you say, hey, Andy, how old are you? And I say, no, how old are you? That's answering a question with a question. If I'm asking for clarification so I could give you a proper answer, that's not answering a question with a question. That's asking for clarification. I mean, technically it's a question, but I need the information. So I would always, if any of you are in a situation where somebody gives you a question and you're not sure because you need more information, just say, I'm happy to answer that. Can you give me some additional information, specifically this, and this, and then I'll answer it. Or would you like me to take a wild guess, in which case my answer is not really of value? I mean, that's what I feel like saying to them. I don't know if that helped you or not. That's how I feel. And you know what? And by the way, I know you all, and I love you for showing up here every week. And I know you're searching for the right jobs, but a big part of me sometimes wants to say, if you're wondering about, and this is not just specific to you, if you're wondering about this stuff here and you're wondering about it in an interview, then what I would question you on is that the kind of place you want to work? Is that the kind of place you want to work if they're not going to give you a fair shake and assess you properly during the interview? That's the way I look at that. I mean, it's kind of silly. We used to do a lot of work with technologists, and we would have clients who would ask them, can you rate your level of expertise in this technology on a scale from 1 to 10? Well, I mean, that's kind of silly. Why don't you ask me questions and gauge my prowess based on my responses? That would be a more effective solicitation of information and evaluation of me to know whether I can fit and do the job. So that's how I feel about that. I got my fingers crossed for you, but that's kind of how I feel about it. Raven, is my resume weak having 5 jobs over 6 years, career in accounting and taxation? Each jobs are from 6 months to 2.5 years. Well, I don't know. It is a lot of jobs. And the one thing that I would suggest, Robin, is I have a video on YouTube titled The Best Answer to the Job Hopper Interview Question. And I would check that out. And I think you can squash that in an interview. By the way, folks, and I'm not being funny here, if there's anything issue-wise, I'm a stay-at-home parent. I'm a veteran. I feel like I'm a job hopper. I'm too young. I don't have enough experience. I'm too old. I'm over 50. Whatever. Anything that you can think of that's relevant to you, to go type that into the Mile Walk blog or my blog, andrewlacivita.com, or my YouTube channel, and I practically guarantee something will come up that will help you for your specific niche issue. So try that. All right. Adeb, what should I do to get a new job which is not related to my last experience? Okay, so I'm assuming you mean you want a career change. I have a career-changing playlist on my YouTube channel. I would highly recommend that. I literally walk you through the steps of what to do. There's a number of videos. Some are recorded style, some are live office style, but I think that will really help you. And I even have some resume templates that I think you can, the collegiate one that you might be able to use if you want to make the shift, if an educational component is helping you move. So check that out. Pansy, how are you? Race B, the message was retracted. Hopefully we got that figured out. Davita, how are you? All right, you got the word versatile LinkedIn profile. I'm telling you, man, I need you to adjust the cover letters. Just this 8 weeks. All right. Mark, let's see. I'm not sure if that's a question. Daniel Gomez, question. Hiring manager called me to say that I would be getting an offer soon. Awesome. His verbal offer is significantly better than what I expected. Should I counter when I receive official package? I love it. So first off, yay. Seriously. Buddy, I know you're here week in and week out and a wonderful part of my community. So I love that. Okay. Can we all get a hug and a clap and a pat on the back and a boom, boom, fist bump, whatever we do to Daniel Gomez. All right. So everybody, here we go. Daniel, and I say this with the warmest heart. If this offer was better than you expected, it just meant your expectations were wrong, right? Look, I think more people should buy my training programs than do. I think more people should watch my YouTube videos than do. That's okay. My expectations are whacked, right? So a lot of times what happens is it's just that, maybe you perform better. Maybe they valued more what you said than you valued. Maybe you have a skill, an expertise, or just a lovable quality about you that is more enticing to them than other employers or whatever. Maybe you just got bad information. Don't worry about all that. Okay, doesn't matter. Pleasant surprise. Should you counter? Now, on the counter, and I have a video out there that how to negotiate your salary after the job offer. I have a video out there on how to get paid what you're worth. I have a video on there on why you don't get paid what you deserve and all that stuff. Okay? I would go watch that stuff. But here's what I would also say. If the offer is not obscenely generous, okay? Like borderline insulting for you to ask for more money, I would counteroffer. Employers rarely come to the table with their best offer. Rarely. Why? Because they anticipate you're going to counter. They do not want to be, viewed as strict and, unbending. So they give you an offer. They assume you're going to counter. Okay, this is insider stuff. They assume you're going to counter, and then they want to give you a little more, and then you're feeling great. But a lot of times what happens? People don't counteroffer. So ask them for more. And my little expression is, as soon as you get the offer, when you get it in writing, or actually you got the verbal. So what I would have said to you before you got the verbal is, I would have immediately asked, is there any wiggle room? I like that expression. It's my expression. I don't hear anybody else use it. It's better than saying, can I have more? Right? But you're basically saying that, but it doesn't sound like it. So I would ask, to answer your question, yes. All of you always counter unless it's obscenely generous and way over the top that it would be insulting. So that's what I would do. And go check those videos out, because I go into some of this in there. And the one on how to negotiate your salary after your job offer, that one I think I give you like a 1-page checklist and all that good stuff. Okay. Let's see. Sean Leroy, how are you? Hi, Andy. What are your thoughts on taking a job locally while continuing to look out of state? No problem. I mean, if your goal is to move, then you just keep. By the way, all of you, there are so many factors that go into your decisions that drive your happiness, that make you who you are, that make you thrive and operate at your best. If you need to move somewhere for whatever reason, adventure, a loved one, family, whatever's taking you there, education, whatever, that's okay. And if you need to take a job locally to earn some money while looking, I say do that. I don't, don't get me wrong. I want you all thinking big picture. I want you thinking long term. But sometimes we need to do these short-term things for ourselves to make it manageable. So go ahead and do that. I mean, Based on, the 2 lines that you gave me there, I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't see it, so I would encourage you to do that. All right. All right. Badir, let's see. Hi, Andy. I was invited for a research intern position interview. Okay. I felt that the interview went well. Good. And the HR person responded positively. Great. To my answers, but sadly was rejected due to the commute. Interesting. What you did not put in there is what was the commute? What was the commute? So are you talking like an hour and a half or 2 hours each way? Are you talking like you live in this side of the earth and they're over on that side? So it's hard to say, but whenever you have issues like this that are, if for you, I'm assuming that you recognized the commute, you went and interviewed anyway, it went positively, then you got to go back and say, well, what would make you more comfortable about the commute? Could you move? Could you? I don't know what flexibility you have at your disposal, but I would never take that for an answer. I would go back and I would fight for it if I wanted it. And is there something that can be done? We have people, like I got a buddy, he's a colleague, he's a client, and I consider him a friend. And he lives that way, and he works an hour and a half that way. And so he said, well, I leave super early, going and coming back, and I go into the office 3 days a week, and I work from home 2 days a week, and whatever. Like, there's a lot of things that can be overcome, and that commute would be horrendous in Chicago traffic, awful. All right. John K, never, but I'll be asking next time. I don't know when that was, 11:23, but I'm guessing you were asking about the what, when, and what happens and all that. Folks, do that. All right. Gino, I will now ask those questions. Excellent. Gino, man, we got a lot of stuff for you. Get into that boot camp. Start at the beginning. All right, Madison, and Gino, hopefully you got my personal, by the way, all of you who are not in my boot camp, I would love to have all of you in the boot camp, but I understand there's a price to it and all that stuff. But I always send everybody who joins the boot camp a personal email. I invite them to share their life story with me so I can be a better coach. I try to make that stuff as personal and tight as possible. I know a lot of trainers don't do that. I feel like if you're going to join my programs, then I need to make an effort to get to know you. And there's a lot of people in that boot camp, but you know what? It's a nice family and a community, and they all support each other. And I like to get to know people so I can give them better advice. And Gino, welcome, and get back to me whenever you can. And I hope we see you on the 19th and in January. All right. Let me see our team. I asked when, but I never thought about asking what happens. Good. Cool. Hey, Alexis, I think that was you who emailed me. Go by Lexi. Let's see. Race B, how do you ask for a paid internship? So I'm not really sure how to respond to that one. Usually they're either paid or unpaid. And so I don't know about ask for a paid internship, meaning it's either paid or it's unpaid. So either ask up front, is this a paid or unpaid internship? And usually that is wholly visible to anybody who's looking. Anybody who's evaluating that. Ada? Oh, hey, that's a good one. Ada, so hi Andy, do you have some good advice to use this high season of company Christmas parties for networking? Here is my general statement. So I love that. Okay, so if you can get there without being like a Christmas party crasher, I love that movie, Wedding Crashers. But when I'm at a party, so there's networking events. We're all, you're decked out. You got the business cards. You got everything, right? And you're that we know we're there for that. But at a Christmas party, I try to keep it social, and I just, maybe this is just me, and I hope this comes through in our sessions here, but this is like really me. I want to get to know you, and I would just assume I know I have to do all the talking here and I got the microphone, but when I'm at a party, I want to listen and I want to get your feedback and I want to learn you and I want to know what makes you tick, what's interesting to you, and so on. And I would use those kind of parties, whether they're Christmas parties or just year-end parties or whatever they are, to meet people and to build a relationship with them and to be sincere so that you like each other, that you genuinely care. Because you can always come back some weeks later and just say, hey, I really enjoyed meeting you. I'd love to connect for coffee or on the phone or bend your ear about this or whatever. I'm always in it for the long haul. I'm always in it for the long haul. And while I appreciate that you might be networking for a job, and that's a short-term issue, I recognize that. But a couple of weeks, it's worth the meet and the follow-up. I liked it. Hey, would you mind if I reached out to you after the holidays? Just, there's nothing wrong with that. But I would not put the full court press on unless somebody invites you to at the party. That would be my guess. That would be my. And the other thing is, by the way, I have a video on networking. It's called Business Networking: How to Build Professional Relationships. And the first thing I tell you is, in networking, your first step is to give, and actually your second step is to give too, before you do an ask. So I would check that out. But Ada, that's my advice. I would really try to build the relationship and not ask and not have an ask. So, all right, let's see. Jess, I think. Wait, Bill. Hey, Helen, based on interviews. Bill, hey, Bill. By the way, I think you've emailed me a time or two. It's in my queue. I read them all. I don't know if you guys know this. Okay, wait. I just got done saying about the boot campers. Any of you who sign up for anything in the Mile Walk Academy and you take a download like this thing, you go and you take this download, you get an email that says, here you go. And then you get a welcome email if you're not already part of my community that says, hey, thank you for engaging with me. Here's like 2 paragraphs on me. Tell me about you. I literally invite you to tell me. And some of you email me and some of you don't. But every one of you who emails me, I read those top to bottom. And I can't respond to everybody, but I read them all. And I think, Bill, you sent me one. God, I hope this is you. But I'm pretty sure it is. And then you sent me another one to say, hey, I see you said you read all your emails. I did, but I'm not sure if I respond to all my emails. Well, I usually do. Like to the really, to the nice emails that say, hey, this is great and all that good stuff. I try to get back to you, but I can't like right away. It just takes me a little bit of time. So, but yeah, it's... if that's you, welcome aboard. All right, Jess, how do you know if the company is panic or patient for the interviews are completed? Well, first off, if you need to ask them, when do you need to have the hire by? What happens if it doesn't? And you'll know. You'll be able to assess if that's a real deadline. Trust me, nobody, and I mean nobody, wants to get behind on a project that's just starting. They don't. They really don't. And that will tell you. Believe me, nothing is worse than starting in a hole. Let's see. Just scrolling down here. Jeff, how are you? Yeah, my wife, I can't believe she's going to be 50. She's trying to catch me. Madison, Joseph. That's right. Keep spreadsheets. Pansy, how are you? Let's see. Whoop. Gino, Alex. All right, we're starting to get to some. Enola, how are you? What's his name? I'm not sure who you're responding to. Jess, I got your email about your results. It's in my queue. If you guys sent it to me yesterday, I got back to you. If you sent it to me today, it's still in the queue. All right, hang on. I'm just looking for any. Karen, wait, I want to comment on this. This is actually okay. So Karen is sharing her score. So Michael Hyatt is he's a former CEO of a publishing company, one of the larger ones, and some years back, and I think it was probably I don't know when, maybe 2004, he left and became like a coach, and he focuses on a number of things. He has his kind of niche, and one of them is leadership, and one of them is publishing, like helping people like me build a platform as an author and that kind of stuff. I do a number of things with him, and one of the things that he has a free to focus program, which I use, and he also has a best year ever program, which I use about goal setting. And as part of his once a year, he offers his best year ever program, because he does it at the end of the year. That's it. It's the end of the year, and that's it, and you never see it again for a year. And so right around now, he has these assessments, free assessments, webinars, video series, and those kind of things that lead up to his enrollment in his program. Now, you don't have to enroll in his program, but his tools are very cool. So I rarely introduce anybody to you guys. I will not introduce somebody whose products I do not use, do not know well, and all that good stuff. So if I say this is cool, it means I believe it. I would never risk the trust factor. But Michael, I love. So he's got this life score assessment. It's cool. It's just, it's a way to show you kind of graphically the strength in the areas in your life. But a lot of you emailed me your results because I like to do these things together with you. I like to make it interactive, and I like to know areas I can help you. Now for Karen, even though you got a lower score, and you look at some of those areas in your life, a lot of times what happens for you, Karen, and anybody else who's doing this is one of the big reasons why your number tends to be low is usually very situational. My finances aren't in good shape because my vocation is out of whack because I'm unemployed. Okay, and that leads to it pulls your score down. Or maybe you lost a loved one, or maybe you're having marital issues, or maybe, whatever are the biggies, those can impact that. Now, Karen, I don't know what your issues are, but I'm going to do my darndest to help you on the vocational stuff and some of the other areas. Michael's got, the video series and the webinars that help you with some of the other stuff that I can't help you with, or at least aren't built yet to do that. So I like to introduce that stuff to you. And it's fun to support him, and he's really helped me. I've helped him on his actually, you know what? A lot of you helped me with the interview intervention with this guy. Remember back, for those of you who've been with me a while, I had a whole relaunch party of this. I had like 250 people in a Facebook group that was private that we were helping me circulate that. I did that with him with Living Forward, and it was great. And so I've really gotten to know him and his stuff. And it's really good. But Karen, I hope you follow through with some of his other stuff, the video series and the webinars. I think it'll really help. Okay. Yeah, Davita's a character, Amy. She really is. Oh my God. Oh, Arjun. Oh, I invited you guys to on the challenge. On the challenge here, on this guy, where am I at? On the challenge, support@milewalk.com. You can share. I mean, just share with me what's going on. And, just let me know how you're coming along and what you're struggling with. I can't find the company. I can't find the name. I can't, whatever. Just tell me what your issue is, and I'll try to address it. In a couple of weeks. Oh, there she goes. Kara beat me to it. May, what are your thoughts on extending a start date on a job because of an illness? So here, my answer is, if you're sick, you're sick. I don't love extending anything, and no one would. I know you wouldn't, right? You wouldn't rather do that. But if you're sick, you're sick. And then just, hopefully it's nothing major. So hopefully that's okay. But yeah, I would do it if I had to. Okay, so Ludovico, This is great. Hi, Andy. I recently found the statistic 60% of jobs are found through referral. What about contacting people on LinkedIn to ask for an informational interview? After interview, ask them for a referral. Okay, a couple things. I'm not sure. So, by the way, I will not dispute your stat because I don't know where it came from. In my opinion, and based on the stats that I gather, that number's probably not so out of bounds. I think it's a little high. I'd be interested to know what the entire sampling of the group is. Like the data that I give you is based on 15,000 data points over 15 years. But 60% of jobs being found through referral, normally the survey stats that we get from employers are lower than that. That most of employers hover around 24% or lower for internal referrals. That's only because of the magnitude of jobs that they're searching for and the different means by which they get them. Some use executive recruiters in combination with job postings. Some have great employee referral programs and so on. But, and it also varies depending on your level. Some are just higher than others. For example, the lower earners and the younger folks tend to get their jobs through applicant tracking system submissions or job boards or other mediums like that raise their percentages for those assets and decrease their percentages on referrals. But regardless, networking, in my opinion, is the best way. I don't care what age you are. Although I've balanced out work plans for you in my job search masterclass, if you want to check that out. I would not contact people and ask for an informational interview. I don't even like the words informational interview. There's really, what you're doing is you're networking, and they're not really interviewing you. Although if they can help you and facilitate an introduction, obviously you want to be in your best behavior. You want to be likable. You want to be helping them and all that good stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just, the nomenclature is the only thing I probably would adjust. I would not use informational interview in any contact or reach out that I make. I've given you many different assets that you can grab to do that. But yes, I would be networking like crazy right now. Alton, I don't know what you mean by the prices. We're interested. We're talking about the boot camp. There's a lot of stuff in there. All right. Anne Marie. Hi, Andrew. You're amazing. I always love to hear that. Thank you. Question: took me 3 years to finish your MBA. Awesome. And to travel. And now I'm coming back looking for a job. Awesome. What do you say about explaining this in a job interview? You just did. Folks, wait, Anne Marie. First off, I love that you did that. I love that you took the time and got it, whether you did it part-time, full-time, whatever. Just explain it. I went to school. I traveled a bit. Is a rare opportunity for me, and I'm off and running now. That to me is everything that I would do. Everything that I would do. Hang on, Kara is beeping at me here. Oh, I missed that. Okay. All right, let me go back into, I can't remember whose question that was, but the rating question. It was nice W75 about, hang on, Kara's telling me I missed something here. If you are asked how much you want the job, you want the job. Scale of 1 to 10, 10. So I hope that cleared that one up. And who did I miss? Kevin Collada. He reposted at 10:54. Let's go down to that. Kevin, sorry I missed you, man. I tried to get, I see at 11:58. I'm trying to go to Canada. I think I addressed that. Yeah, I think I got that. All right, she's telling me now I answered. All right, Mary Jo is a boot camper. Hi. I love it. Love you. I love you back, dear. Okay, let me see. Not Kara, where was I? Just lost. Folks, I'm sorry. Man, hang on. I'm trying to get, I know we're like way over what I said, but hang on. I'm trying to get as many of these things as I can. Where was I? Hold on. All right, here we go. I think I'm back. Gino with the thumbs up, so on and so forth. There we go. Anne Marie. Sue, thumbs up. Davida, okay. Jess. Siobhan, how are you? Winton, how are you? Yeah, take the challenge, folks. Come on, man. I'm here for you. Okay, Kara, I'm at 11:44. I got Andres. Let me know if I missed it. The Slack thing was behind the other browser stuff. That's why I kept missing it. Okay. Andres. I'm on Andres 11:44. Does that look right? Okay. After okay, so let me get this straight. All right, I'm on Andres. After applying using Indeed, I received an automatic message saying I need to do an automated phone screen. Okay. I have to record some answers. Which questions should I face? Andres, what I would do is I would grab this book, and if you do not have it, Kara, maybe just pop it in the link. Inside, there is a chapter. It's number 6. It's called My Silver Bullet Interview. Here it is. Can you see this? My Silver Bullet Interview. Wait, I don't think I got it. My Silver Bullet Interview. This, inside this chapter are the 14 most effective interview questions that you can be asked. 43 variations of those questions, why the employer asks them, what the employer is looking for, and the very best responses. When you get the book, you don't have to. So like when you order this book, here's what happens. We get a bunch of orders today and yesterday and the day before and so on, 7 days a week. Kara then pulls them out of the system, and we send them to the warehouse and the shipping company. They pick them out of the warehouse, they pack them, and then they mail them to you, whether you're in the United States or whether you're whether you're out of the country. And that usually, so basically she sends it the next day, and then they usually ship them out the next day, or sometimes that day. And then it takes a few days, or it could take up to like 15 or 20 work days, depending on where you live. But instantly, you have access to the ebook and the audiobook. And the ebook is a PDF which fits the Nook, the Kindle, the iPad, the computer, anything. You can read the whole thing. And I recorded the audio for you, and I broke it up by chapter. And that Silver Bullet interview chapter that I just showed you, I recorded the audio of each one of those questions separately. You can download all that stuff and listen to me in the car or while you're working out or whatever, and I break it down to make it easier for you to just say, hey, no, I just want to focus on that one, or I just want to focus on that one. So I didn't record all that all together for you. Actually, I recorded that whole chapter together, and then I recorded each of the questions individually for you. I was thinking about you guys years ago when I recorded that, but the only place you can get it is from my site. You can get the ebook and the book off Amazon, but the ebook on Amazon is $9, and the paperback's $12, and the hardbound's like $28. So take it from me. I mean, and then grab it. And so, Andres, that's what I would do. And if you don't have it, it is totally worth it, and you get all that. And then on the other side, there's a wonderful book with 75 questions that I would ask the employer. You'll never run out of questions, and it's a PDF ebook that you can have as well. Yeah, I want as many people to read Interview Intervention as possible, to the point where I will give it away. Okay. Let's see. Mad Hatter, how do I sign up for December 10th? So I think what you're asking is, how do you sign up? Remember, I've got the free web live event, the webcast. By the way, in case you're nomenclature, if I say webinar, that's usually a recorded session that you can watch. When I have a live webcast, I'm there, sitting there with you, presenting it to you and answering your questions. This thing is on December 14th. of job searching for executives and for professionals over 50. But I am now doing this thing with my live shows, my live events, where you got to sign up 3 days in advance. Like the deadline is 3 days in advance so that I can give you lessons before that you can look at that give you a running start into the event. And then I know you're going to be there. I know you're engaged, and I'm giving you the coaching instead of just letting you sign up for stuff and then people blow it off and they don't come. So December 10th it is. There's a there's a link to the page. Just click it, sign up, boom, you're in. And I'll be emailing, actually, we'll probably email you tomorrow if you're in my community to announce this. So if you don't want to sign up today, just keep an eye out for your email tomorrow. I haven't drafted the email yet, but I will. I don't do a lot in advance, as you could probably tell. But it's good stuff. All right. Wilma, great. Joshua, great. Rick, good. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Thank you, Andy. I get such a kick out of you. Hey, you know what? I get a kick out of myself. Sean, you're welcome. Amy, you're welcome. Dan Morris. Dan is a good dude. Dan, I dropped your book, The Hiring Prophecies, in the mail. Now you got a signed Interview Intervention and a signed The Hiring Prophecies. Thank you for that nice remark. Winton, great to see you. Gino, you're welcome. Rick, you're welcome. Amy, you're welcome. So Mad Hatter, you will get an email tomorrow, probably like midday, my midday, but there is a link in the description here, and Kara probably, Kara, did you put the link in the thing for the event? I don't know if you did that. Wait, Crystal, I think I see Sean was asking me, I think that was twice. I bought a modern design resume template. Do you recommend them? Crystal, this is a great question. Crystal Adams, wonderful. Okay, I bought a modern designed resume, meaning it's probably got graphics, colors, boxes, icons. I get it. I do not recommend them. Number one, trust me when I tell you, when a human is looking at them, I know they think all the bells and whistles are pleasing, but they're not. I'm just looking for text. And the harder it is for me to find it, the worse I feel about the person's resume I'm reading. The applicant tracking systems, if you have to put that resume into an applicant tracking system, it will have an incredibly difficult time digesting the information. The applicant tracking system is a very dumb computer that is looking for zeros and ones. It's looking for plain text. If it sees hieroglyphics and funky smiley faces and tables and things that are disrupting it, it doesn't digest it very effectively. Now, I want to throw a caveat in there. If you're a graphics person or design person or in one of those roles where things need to be visually pleasing, I give you license to knock your socks off. But I would not be sticking that in an applicant tracking system. It's not going to go over well. What you could do is you can try to go into the applicant tracking system with the more plain template like mine, the one that I give you in the build your ultimate professional resume video. You can actually there might be links in, I might have taken the links out of this one, but I don't they do not help with the ATS. So I hope that's crystal clear. Winton, you can get in on the 14th with the link. Kara, can you post that? I don't know if you posted that in the chat. I would definitely post the live event in the chat. I don't know if I've seen it. Wait, you don't think I'm telling? Look, it's my latte, man. Amy, come on. I make the stuff, man. I'm not like on one of those TV shows where they don't have anything in their cups. All right. Let me see. Rushab? I'm not sure how to pronounce that. If I mispronounced it, by the way, if you guys have names that are not intuitively obvious, put the pronunciation in there. I like to call you out, and I want to, sometimes phonetically it doesn't always work, but all right. I thank you for following my videos. They're helpful. Glad to hear it. Do you have any additional tips for international graduate students? You know what? I get this every now and again. I not at the risk of sounding like a nut. I don't. It doesn't matter to me if you're an international or if you're inside the US or if you're a graduate student or recent college graduate or don't have a college degree. The principles that I'm giving you most of the time are tried and true across the board. So I'm glad you're liking the videos. I think if you just follow that stuff, you'll be in good shape. All right, wait. Hey, okay, Amy, I love you. Okay, this man makes me feel like I can conquer the world. That's what I'm talking about. Folks, you don't have to do it exactly like I say all the time. Like, I just need you to get in motion. And don't get me wrong, I want you to take the right steps and I want you to take them positively and confidently. But if that's how you're feeling, then I know I did my job. And I do pride myself on having, I want to be unique first off, I want to be me and I want you to be you. And I want to be unique in what I can offer you that you can't just find watching somebody else's 10-minute videos. So, I think I told a lot of you this, and I think I feel good about this goal that I set for myself at the beginning of the year. I had 2 goals. One of them was I want you to have, through me, I want to be able to offer the second best, my free training would be the second best training that you could get in the market. And my other goal was that my paid training would be the best, training that you can get in the market, and that I would offer it to you in a unique fashion and format, and that I would be here with you week in and week out. And on those weeks I miss, I make up twice the next week. I mean, next week I'm out, but the following week I'm here Thursday, and you guys could all come on Friday to that event, which will be really, really fun. I'm going to be talking about some things that I don't talk a lot about, but I feel like that group and that demographic needs that. And I know a lot of you are in that demographic that are in my community. All right, let me see. It's 1 o'clock. I'm 30 minutes past where I wanted to be. I gotta say so long, folks, because I gotta get on to something else. I hope you enjoyed this. I love having you. Don't forget, grab this guy. Check out the Michael Hyatt Life Score Assessment. I sent you the email, so you got the link for that. I think Kara put it in here. Check my social media page, my Facebook page, or Twitter, or whatever. And then I will see you Tuesday. You've got a recorded video. Thursday, I'm out with my wife, and then I'm out with her on the weekend. And then I'm back the following Thursday, December 13th, and I invite you. Remember the challenge. support@milewalk.com. Just a quick email. Hey, it's going well. Hey, I'm struggling with this. Hey, here's my issue. I can't seem to do this or that. What are your issues? And I'll try to reply back to you, but at a minimum, believe me, we will be collecting that, and I'll be talking about it in 2 weeks. So until then, hope everybody's great. Work on the challenge. I hope the holiday season is off and running for you guys, and I'll catch up with you in a couple of weeks. Thanks a lot for hanging in there with me, the 123 that are still here. You guys are awesome. All right, we'll see you in a week or two.